down today, Joe. We've got
Blackburn. Hello, welcome to a quick video. As you may know, the Leeds Creator Cup was yesterday for you, still today for me. But I figured it would probably be an idea to do a video because I'm struggling to sleep right now and I would like to get something out today of some format. So I had a little bit of a look around various bits and bobs and stuff, and I discovered something, a potential update with the Anton Stack move, which is potentially fairly important for Leeds United, but I'll get to that in a couple of minutes' time. However, before I do so, if you've not watched the Leeds Creator Cup, it's up as a live stream on the channel right now, so you can go and do so, and the donation link will be down below, so if you fancy donating to Prostate Cancer UK, that'd be massively appreciated. We've raised at least £5,000 already, and if you could add to that, that would be genuinely spectacular. Very, very good charity. Cheers in advance, I suppose. And thank you for subscribing and making me pay 67 quid to Prostate Cancer UK as well. If you guys could also push that one up, that'd be lovely. Anyway. Yes, so Anton Stack deal is sort of evolving and moving a little bit weird, and there decided to be a little bit of movement in the time that almost every Leeds United creator was at the Creator Cup, which is a very sneaky move by Leeds United. Leeds United have done a clever there, and that makes it quite hard for us to keep up. So I'll just have a little bit of a talk through it. Effectively, what I seem to have gathered from multiple different sources in multiple different directions was, over this weekend it's likely that Anton Stack has done his medical at Leeds United, which effectively means moved on. Considering we'd agreed terms with Hoffenheim recently, considering agreed personal terms weeks back, Anton Stack coming to Leeds United. My current theory is probably that he will be announced today, as in Monday, tomorrow from my perspective, because that's how these timelines tend to work out. It tends to be a case of do the medical one day, and then peak social media hours the next day, we will do the proper announcement, because it's just a sensible way of doing it. It makes sure that you get as many views on your post, it makes sure you get as many clicks as you can on your post. Ultimately beneficial for the club, beneficial for the player because there's more people seeing his name, beneficial for fans because they're more likely to be there actually seeing it. Not great for content creators because we're trying to have our tea at the time, but that doesn't matter too much. Beyond that, how they announce it, I don't know. It'll be a standard interview, Twitter post, all that kind of stuff. But in terms of when we could expect to first see him play, I'm not 100% sure. I would argue Villarreal is probably the one where we'd expect to see him. I think that is the 2nd of August off the top of my head, which is a pretty damn good time for it, which is... had a couple of weeks in training, which will absolutely do the job. Elland Road, so introducing him to the fans in a nice, shiny, new way. All sorts of adds up, I suppose, to being the match where we're most likely to see him, and I think it's the next one, unless I'm forgetting a match. As far as I remember, it was Man United, it was Villarreal, it was AC Milan, and that was pre-season. There might be another like York or something in there, but I think Villarreal's the perfect opportunity, and as to what he adds to the midfield, a hell of a lot, to be honest. So as we witnessed in the match against Scum, it looks like we are going to a 3 midfielder sort of structure. So it was Tanaka playing in a slightly more advanced role. I wouldn't have called him a 10 still, with Ampadu on one side, Gruev on the other side. Stack fits in perfectly as one of your Gruev or Ampadu. His defensive numbers last season were absolutely ridiculous. He was in like the top 10% for all defensive numbers as midfielders go. His passing ain't half bad either. Perfect player for this system, and I think it's a signing that shows the system that we're trying to take on right now. 3 midfielders, probably not going to be looking at signing a number 10 in that instance, and maybe hoping that in the rare event that we do use a number 10, it can be an Aronson, or it can be a Tanaka playing slightly out of position, or a Piru. But the midfield signings that we've made so far have been excellent. Sean Longstaff, very good at what he does. As we saw against Scum, I wouldn't say dominated the midfield because that's a step too far, but he seemed very comfortable for someone that had been there for a matter of days. And Stack will very much do the same thing, just in a slightly more defensive role, which I've got no issues with at all. Beyond that, in terms of signings that we're potentially looking at, there was the news around Igor Paixão, in that it looks like he's off to Marseille now. He's got personal terms agreed with them rather than us, and the numbers that it's looking like in terms of the deal itself is 30 million euros plus a 30% sell-on fee. If it was a case of just go out there, spend 40 million euros, fine, brilliant, that'll do, I would have had no problem with Leeds United going for that. But I think if it is a case of sell-on clauses and that kind of stuff, you're effectively being punished for developing the player at your club, because a chunk of whatever you do with that is just going to go to a different side. It would just go to, is it PSV that he's at? I think so. A big chunk of that would just go to PSV, which I would rather we not have to deal with. Is it Feyenoord? Feyenoord, PSG? PSV? I don't know. Feyenoord is my guess. But either way, a bunch of our cash will go to a red and white team in the Netherlands, which is not exactly ideal. So it's looking like it'll be a case of moving on to new targets in the coming weeks, picking up a new left winger, picking up a new number 9, because Pat Bamford on the way out, I think it is a good time for that in the end. But yeah, that is the basics of the Leeds United news that was missed yesterday. And I think we're on a good path. I think we're on a path where we are making sensible signings that will add to the squad. We're getting the players in that we kind of need, rather than the players that are nice and shiny, which is definitely a good step for us to take. I'm comfortable with it. I genuinely think that if we get a decent 9 and a decent left winger, staying up is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Less convinced on Jack Harrison, though. Jack Harrison's performance in that scum match was not great. Rated as the worst by FOTMob in a match with 46 players is an achievement, and not a good one. So I think Harrison on the way out is one that makes sense for me. Anyway, I'm running out of things to talk about, so I'll probably leave it there. If you did watch the Leeds Creator Cup, let me know what your highlight was in the chat below. That'd be massively appreciated. I'm kind of curious what people like from it. Still trying to work out if I want to do one next year as well, but we will see. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, pop a like on it. It's always massively appreciated. Helps the channel out a hell of a lot. Comment, as I mentioned a moment ago, and subscribe if you aren't yet, because it just helps the channel to keep on pushing on. You could also become a channel member if you like. You get a bunch of videos early like this one. I'll be doing a stream later in the day covering a couple of Creator Cup bits, assuming I'm back in Blackpool in time, but we'll find out. And yeah, I'm going to try and get some sleep now, regardless of how awake my noggin feels. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you later. Toodaloo. I really need to go to sleep. Yeah. I'd probably find something else to talk about on another day, but no. Good night.